Protectors of the Grid. Chapter 37. The parking lot of the office was eerily empty, although well illuminated. "What is that light doing on in the lab?" Charlie exclaimed, looking up to the third floor where two windows on either side of the corner shone brightly. "Are you sure this is important enough to go in? Any idea who could be there? And why?" Tara was clearly in detective mode. "I need my files," Charlie was adamant. "Will and I need to see where things converge to this one point, then seem to go nowhere. The sooner we can start, the better. And I really would rather he and I work at home. If I go into the office in the morning, I'll get waylaid and we'll lose time." Ben patted Tara's shoulder as they walked toward the front entrance. "And I'd like to see who has left messages. Then I'll have a better idea of what's waiting and can get Patty to help with diversions. It won't take long, yet Tara, we'll get back to the condo, have a glass of wine, and get some sleep." "I hope you're right, Ben. I'm fading fast. It's been a hell of a long day." Their footsteps in the empty halls sounded uncomfortably loud. The elevator dinged, the doors swished open, they crowded inside and emerged in a dark section of a hall that had lights streaming from beneath the door near the corner. "Those lights should not be on," Charlie breathed. "Someone is in there. I know it. I just know it." She led the way, striding down the hall to the lab that was her domain. When the door handle didn't turn, Charlie fished in her handbag for her keys. She was just putting the key in the lock when the door opened, and after an intake of breath, a voice demanded, "What are you doing here?" Charlie's eyes hardened. "That's exactly what I was about to ask you, Leonard. The middle of Sunday night?" Leonard seemed unsure what to say. He looked around at the others. "Who are you? What are you doing here?" Ben stepped forward, intense displeasure on his face. "As the CEO of this company, I sure don't have to explain my movements to—" He paused and looked at Charlie. "Leonard is one of our engineers. Leonard, we have a small company. Don't you recognize Ben Boyce, one of our founders?" Leonard blinked behind the thick lenses of his glasses. He swallowed hard, then tried to smile. The hand he stuck out shook until Ben accepted the handshake, and he struggled not to swipe at the bead of sweat that trickled down his cheek. "I don't like him." Tara couldn't say why, but the feeling was strong. Charlie had pushed past Leonard into the lab and was staring at the papers scattered over the conference table in the center. She whirled to look back at Leonard. "These are my files, Leonard. How did you get into my file cabinet? I lock it every time I leave." "And why? This research is in an entirely different segment than what you're supposed to be working on." She leaned back against the edge of the table and crossed her arms. Her eyes were distinctly unfriendly. "What are you up to?" Leonard's narrow face was now the color of the white lab coats hanging by the door. "I was just following a lead, Charlie. We were testing the strength of the europium in the chips for the minicams because the tests the last few days totally tanked. I thought I remembered that you were looking into alternate minerals." He waited for her acknowledgement, which was a quick jerk of her head. She looked at her watch, pointedly. Leonard stuttered on. "I came back after dinner because I wanted to be ready to talk with you when you got back in the office Monday. Tomorrow." Charlie squinted at him, rattled the keys in her hand. "Jedediah unlocked your cabinet for me," Charlie frowned. "Jedediah, the janitor? He has keys to all the offices, but not to my file cabinets." "No, but I told him how important this is and that I wanted to be ready for you, so he did me a favor. The lock wasn't hard to pick." "Great." She turned to Ben. "Requisitioning a more secure file cabinet, Ben. Please get Patty on it right away." She turned back to Leonard. "Leonard, don't ever do this again. I will not be in the office tomorrow. I am working with these two consultants and we will be where we can be undisturbed. But as soon as I get back to the lab, I want to see your notes." Leonard sounded desperate now. "But Charlie, was I right? Do we have a quality issue with the europium?" "No, we have a potential issue with the zinc-cadmium sulfide, but I've got to run a few more tests before I'm sure. And Leonard," Charlie paused for emphasis. Leonard swallowed and blinked. "You will say nothing to anyone about any of this, right?" Leonard's head bobbed up and down in agreement. Right, Charlie. Now, go." Leonard looked longingly at the papers scattered across the table. "Now," hissed Ben. Leonard stumbled over his own feet in his hurry to get out the door. They heard the clatter of his feet on the stairs, not even waiting for the elevator. The energy lightened as soon as they saw him running across the parking lot. They all felt it,